Anderson was the high school state player of the year in Wisconsin. Charles Cooper, though, leads him in the points category, better than 13 a game. And for the Badgers, Nigel Hayes, his 87th consecutive start. And also Bronson Koenig, over 70 consecutive starts. So a lot of experience for the Badgers. And the head man on the bench of the Phoenix, Link Darner, actually played at Purdue under Gene Cady back in the early 90s. First year with Green Bay, not too bad a season ago. Took him to the NCAA tournament.
And that followed up the previous season. He won a national title at the Division II level at Florida Southern.
And now in his second year with the Phoenix, so a pair of second-year head coaches with Link Darner and Greg Gard. At center court, it's Kenneth Lowe at 6'8" in the green jerseys. And tipping it back successfully, Ethan Happ at 6'10" for the Badgers, and we are underway alongside Sean Morris. I'm Brandon Gautin. Thanks for settling in for the second of our doubleheader here on BTN tonight. Northwestern defeating Chicago State in the first game. Left wing three on the way, and it drops down for Zach Showalter.
You saw Green Bay shading over toward Koenig, so the ball fake by Showalter froze the defense, allowing him to knock it down. Good use of the ball fake by the senior Showalter.
Showalter, his 11th three-pointer of the year. Getting the Badgers started off on the right foot. Anderson now tries to even it, cannot. He's the most prolific three-point shooter for Green Bay. Couldn't get it to drop.
Mr. Basketball in the state of Wisconsin a year ago.
And actually, Anderson winning both state titles that he won there at Stevens Point here in this building. So he is familiar with the sightlines at Kohl Center. Left wing, another three on the way. That one a little strong, but following his own miss, Brown regathers.
This is a tough matchup right here. Hayes has the size advantage.
Hayes lets it fly. So the first 4 shots of the game, all from outside the arc.
And this is a team in Green Bay that goes to the foul line about 25 times per ball game. They want to attack the rim.
And they attack it right there. Left-handed lay-in for Charles Cooper, their leading scorer.
Good job of moving without the basketball. Overplay by Wisconsin. The Phoenix sensed that dive to the rim.
And Sean, we will see a lot of this. The Phoenix, they like to pressure, don't they?
They want to get up and down the floor, and they know that if this gets into a half-court set, the size advantage by Wisconsin will take a case or take a load off them as this game unfolds.
Here's one man with a size advantage. Happ kicks it up top. An extra pass to Hayes. He'll pull from inside. And a little strong.
Happ hindered with foul trouble last time out versus Marquette in the first half, only 2 minutes.
And then in the second half, 11 points and 5 rebounds, helping them to that win over another in-state rival Marquette. There's a steal, leads to a 2-on-1. Hayes lays it up and in.
Nice job in the open floor by 2 experienced players. What you saw was Hayes flare out to the right wing, but a good job by Koenig of creating space by dribbling toward the middle of the floor so they won't running side by side.
5-2 Badgers, a little over 2 minutes gone by. That one off the mark by Jamar Hurdle, and the corner goes out of bounds, and we will have a push and a foul going against Wisconsin.
Watch the steal. Nice dig in there by Koenig or by Showalter. And then what you saw was a very savvy play in the open floor. Koenig dribbles over to the left. They don't run side by side, so the backpedaling defender, one guy couldn't defend 2.
Foul was on Nigel Hayes, by the way. First of the game on either team. You mentioned they get to the line a lot, this Green Bay, but they are minus 30% from outside the arc, 29%, and once again, they struggle to hit on that attempt.
Yeah, this is not a stellar shooting team. 43% from the floor. You mentioned 29% from 3, and they do get to the line a lot, but not a great foul shooting team at 68%.
It will stay on this side as it's knocked out of bounds by Kenneth Lowe.
But foul shooting has been a staple during the tenure of Coach Link Darner. A year ago, Brandon, they led the nation in free throw attempts.
And they like, as you said, to get up and down, attack that basket, get to the foul line, stopping and popping and burying it. Bronson Koenig. Koenig wants to forget the game he had last year against Green Bay. Career high 8 turnovers, just 1 assist in the scoring column on that last shot. Hurdle no good off the window, and Koenig tracks it down.
You mentioned the 8 miscues by Koenig a year ago, 26 overall for Wisconsin.
And Koenig to the basket, can't get it to drop. Fighting for the offensive rebound, and that went off of Green Bay, off of Anderson's left foot.
Koenig trying to turn the corner. Happ keeps it alive with that link. the Phoenix did a pretty good job of having position, but they didn't put a body on Happ. That allowed him to use the length to come over the top and keep that play alive.
Mentioned those 26 turnovers last year here when these two teams met. That's actually a Kohl Center high for Wisconsin all time in this building. And that's taken away. Here comes a 3-on-2, leaving it for Lowe, and Lowe off the window.
And that's exactly what the Phoenix want to do. They want to get deflections, steals, and create number situations in transition.
On the left wing, Showalter trying to feed inside, and there's a bump before the ball arrives, and a foul on Charles Cooper.
Good active hands by Cooper, knocking it away. And he's running the floor. They have number situations, and you could see right there, they had a 4-on-2. One of the few easy attempts at the rim that Green Bay's had thus far.
Cooper will take an early seat. Link Darner sees his team down by 3. With 16-13 remaining in the first half. Hayes going to work. No good off the spin move. So Nigel Hayes starting at 0-3 from the field.
And Khalil Iverson in the ball game for the Badgers, coming off a nice performance last time out versus Marquette.
Active hands at a strip by Showalter. Hayes with a jump stop inside, finds Showalter. Extra pass to Koenig. He'll step back. And into the hands of Karam Cantor, who just came off the bench for Green Bay.
And Cantor had 23 points last time out for Green Bay versus Central Michigan.
Yeah, number 1 in green, actually 40 of his 63 points, a guy with the ball right here, have come in the last 2 games. But he can't knock it down, and then he's whistled for an early foul. And that will take us to our first timeout. Early action, 2 in-state rivals doing battle, 7-4 Badgers. Badgers 7, the Phoenix or Green Bay 4, 15:30 first half. Back at the Kohl Center here courtside. Hello, everybody. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Sean Morris. And Sean, Wisconsin 14th in the country on a 5-game win streak. They want to make sure they don't hit a speed bump here tonight.
Against an in-state rival, they gave them everything they wanted a season ago here in the Kohl Center. Turnovers hurt them at that point in time, but during that 5-game streak to which you referred, Brandon, they've shared the ball extremely well, especially Nigel Hayes. The performance that Wisconsin put up against that 2-3 vaunted defense of Syracuse was textbook, and a big reason for that was the willingness of Nigel Hayes to give himself up by making himself available between the 2 lines of defense.
There's a 3 from the wing. That's no good by Vito Brown, and then knocked out. Officials confer with each other, and it will go to Green Bay. That performance, though, by Nigel Hayes against Syracuse, where he was just 1 point shy of having a triple-double, which would have been the second only in Wisconsin history. You said maybe that's the best you've seen him play.
Yeah, he was just outstanding. The whole team was, but he set the tone, Brandon, by his willingness to make quick decisions against that 2-3 defense, which has stymied so many players and so many teams over the years.
Right now, Wisconsin will have to do it with Hayes getting a breather over on the bench. On the other side, Lowe dishing to the corner for a triple, and that drops down for Khalil Small.
Not necessarily Small's forte. Came in shooting 20% from deep prior to that attempt.
Yeah, he was 6 of 30, Sean. Last year, though, 41%. So it's been feast or famine for Khalil Small so far these last 2 years. That ties the game at 7 apiece.
Well, you can see what Green Bay's doing there, just packing it in right now. A little bit of matchup zone principles here.
2 to shoot. Desperation attempt. And that one falls short of the rim. Shot clock violation and a Wisconsin turnover.
So this is a team we've talked about, Brandon, that doesn't shoot the ball necessarily well, but a lot of times a 3 will come with a post touch. Good job of going inside, forcing the defense to collapse, and a nice job by Kenneth Lowe from Green Bay of waiting for the double team to come down before he kicked it out to his teammate in the corner.
So a chance for Green Bay to get their first lead. They're out of the Horizon League, 4-5 so far on the young season. We mentioned earlier, won the Horizon League tournament last year as a 4 seed before falling to Texas A&M in the first round of the dance. Inside to Cantor. He's the man who's had all the points the last 2 games for Green Bay. Dribbling outside, 4 to shoot. Back into Lowe. Cleared out of there by Happ. Here comes a Badgers squad that's missed 8 of their last 10 from the field. Happ changes that right there.
I tell you what, the big fella Ethan Happ sprinted. He ran by about 2 green jerseys, set up shop, caught it down there on the left block, and then finished. That was a beautiful play by the big fella.
Ethan Happ, he owns the paint. There's a foul defensively just into the game. Dimitri Trice with a personal.
What you didn't see was Happ sprinting down the floor and demanding the basketball. Good job of catching it on the left block and then going to the right side of the rim. So if there were a shot blocker in the ball game, he was shielding himself with that rim. But a really good job by the big guy running the floor.
Getting his first 2 points. He averages over 13 points, 9.5 rebounds a game this half.
With the conference in steals a year ago.
He did indeed. And a foul in the post as Kanter was trying to pass it out to Botts. And that's on Khalil Iverson, who just came in off the bench a moment ago. Nigel Hayes will return. Bronson Koenig as well. And Iverson, who was just in there briefly, will go sit next to the coaching staff. Good pass inside. Kanter lost it going up because of the defense of Brown, and a diving effort by Anderson unsuccessful.
And Coach Gard has gone to the bench fairly early in this ball game because I think he's trying to find, you can just tell by looking at the Badgers right now as we review the play at the rim, which ends up with Wisconsin in possession. They've been a step slow, and they haven't had the offensive fluidity that they've shown over that 5-game period of time that you talked about earlier.
Yeah, we showed the numbers, but over 86 points a game in this stretch. And now standing at 9-2 and a top 15 team in the country. Spin move, but partially blocked there by Lowe, disrupting Hayes.
Nice recovery by Lowe.
The other direction. Khalil Small can't get his second 3 to drop. Up ahead, Hayes again. No feed down inside to Happ. One-on-one with Kanter. Now Vito Brown getting into paint. Beautiful dish leads to an easy left-handed layup.
Ends up for a nice basket for Happ, but if you're Wisconsin, if you take a look at that, a lot of dribbling. Their ball wasn't moved crisply. You can just tell right now that Wisconsin's not clicking on the offensive end.
They're on the doorstep of final exams. Badgers will have a 9-day break after this to take their finals before being back in action here on the 23rd against Florida A&M. Lowe off the window.
I'm not sure if he meant to bank it in, but that was a pretty good job by Lowe of facing up on the larger defender Happ.
Bank open late in Madison on a Wednesday night. It's a tough time of year for both programs. All programs really. You got the finals. Things are turning toward the holidays. A lot on your mind.
Because it disrupts your practice routine because guys have different exams at different times.
Happ unable to get his 3rd bucket of the night. Coaches start to like it after the finals, though, because they kind of get uninterrupted time with their players, don't they?
Yeah, and the time limits placed on them when school is in session in terms of the amount of time they can spend with their team also goes by the wayside for that period.
Just the 4th 3-pointer of the year by Karam Kanter, and that gives Green Bay the 12-11 lead.
Now, right now, if you're Wisconsin, Brandon, you want to get something going to the rim with a post touch or dribble drive.
See if they can do just that. They try to dribble it in there, but Bronson Koenig lost it. It will stay with the Badgers on the other side of this timeout. Nifty pass here. Vito Brown finding Happ, laying it in, but the Badgers down a penny. Green Bay on a 10-4 run over the last 6.5 minutes to grab a 12-11 lead, and Karam Kanter got the last basket for the Phoenix.
Nice job of reversing the basketball, forcing the defense for Wisconsin to move. And that triple by Kanter continues his outstanding play of late, coming off a 23-point performance last time out, as you see there, versus Central Michigan in limited minutes. 11 of 13 from the charity stripe in that effort.
Whatever he's been eating for pregame meal the last couple outings, keep doing it, says Link Darner. There's a foul, and that'll send Nigel Hayes, one of the country's best at getting to the line, to the stripe.
Hasn't completed at the rate to which we've become accustomed from. Nigel Hayes has struggled a little bit in this his senior season, 62% from the line thus far.
And he misses the first. December features some great women's hoops matchups on BTN. First on the 20th, the Spartans battle Notre Dame. Then on the 21st, it's Nebraska taking on top-ranked UConn. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern, December 20th on BTN and also streaming live on BTN to go. Hayes gets 1 of 2 to tie us up at a dozen apiece. 23rd meeting all time between these two programs, as unable to finish Charles Cooper. And Green Bay has only won one of them back in 2009, but hanging tough early. Here's Nigel Hayes. Almost had an electric slam at his first field goal. Instead, he'll go right back to the line.
Nice dribble drive, but you also have to tip your hat to Khalil Iverson. He comes over. Watch number 21 right here, and then he takes the defender up the lane, which eliminates the weak side help from Box. A small thing, but important thing there by Iverson.
Iverson, the sophomore, clearing it out for Nigel Hayes, the senior. Hails from Toledo, Ohio, and he hits the first. There's Iverson. Also from Ohio is Iverson. So both of these men for the Buckeye State. And Hayes gets them both. Koenig returns. Trice will sit. That's Tevin Finley dribbling the ball up and then passing it off for Green Bay. He just entered last time. At the media timeout, he's got it between the circles, off to Cantor.
Good job by Happ of moving his feet. Really good job.
Happ had quite the battle on his hands, you mentioned, in the second half against Marquette. Battling with Luke Fisher, Marquette. Two big, tall trees, two very talented post players going head-to-head.
Especially when he had to come in after the halftime break completely cold. Essentially, because of fouls, he only played 2 minutes in the first half. So he had to come in there. Everyone else had a good game sweat going, and he was essentially starting from scratch.
And he picked up the slack with those 11 second half points. He's got the ball on the left side right now.
Nice pass.
Really nice pass. And Showalter pays it off.
Good use of inversion right there. They put the ball in the big guy's hands in half, and he dribbles into the lane. That draws the defenders from Green Bay, allowing the kick out to Showalter.
Cantor is settling for some threes. He's taken a trio of them. He's made one. Maybe that's a shot Greg Gard is okay with him taking.
And the guy's coming off a performance 11 to 13 from the line.
How about Happ? He's known for his play in the paint. There he shows he's got a little range.
Well, Cantor just dared him. I mean, he backed almost under into the restricted area, and Happ said, I'll take that.
That bucket right there stopped an 8-0 Wisconsin run on a nice finish by Charles Cooper. But last year for Happ, he had 163 field goals made. Every one of them was in the paint. They dared him, as you said, but he was able to knock it down. Let's see what he does here. Doubled in the post. Extra pass for Showalter once more. He's got 3 from downtown.
And a good job. Hayes had a shot, which would have been a decent shot. He gave it up for a better shot, but again, it was the post touch to Happ, which got everything going.
Largest lead right now for the Badgers, and it's followed by a Green Bay turnover.
Watch Happ draw the double team. Now that's a shot that Hayes can take and make, but he gives it up for a better shot, and that allows Showalter to step into that three-point shot, Brandon. Good job by Happ of utilizing the skip pass in the corner to the senior Hayes, and Hayes kept the ball moving.
Not too bad of a start for Zach Showalter. 3 of 3 from downtown. He averages less than 7 points a game. He has 9 so far.
And he has taken out the second leading scorer for the Phoenix freshman, Trevor Anderson. He has not had a chance to get anything going offensively because of the defensive presence of Showalter.
Slipping down the paint, but unable to handle it, Khalil Iverson.
Triple, guys.
Boy, Showalter just shadowing Anderson everywhere, not allowing the freshman to even sniff catching the basketball.
He's got it right now on the wing. Gives it up to Cooper. He'll go down inside of Jamar Hurdle. He tries to fire it over Hayes, no good. And a scrub for the rebound. Showalter takes it from Anderson. Here comes Caden. Badgers 8-point lead, looking for more. Hayes will let it fly. Yes. Steal by Iverson, but it will stay with Green Bay as the Badgers on a chilly, chilly night in Madison, Wisconsin, the state capital. They're starting to heat up. Town to open up a 25-14 lead.
And after some initial offensive stagnancy by Wisconsin, they've done a much better job over that period of time, Brandon, of sharing the basketball. 9 made field goals, 8 coming via the assist.
There's an assist. Extra pass from Hurdle into Khalil Small.
Really good set out of that dead ball situation by the Phoenix. They get a post touch inside. You see the scrape down. The player for Green Bay senses that. That's an automatic dive. Good job.
It gets it back to single digits. Koenig and Hayes back and forth. And now Thomas from the free throw line, no good. Showalter active at the rim, but can't get it with the right hand. Charles Cooper trying to drop it off in the paint, and it's taken away by Showalter. That's the 4th Green Bay turnover. Wisconsin with 2 of them. Charles Thomas, I told you before the game, he looks more like a tight end. Showalter with his first miss from deep. Well, the other end, Small will stop and pop, but it's short.
Good hustle by Anderson. That's the only time he's really been able to touch the basketball was on an offensive rebound situation because of the job that Zach Showalter has done on him defensively.
Fans, stay tuned at the half for the State Farm halftime report. Dave Reps and Deon Thomas break down our first half and they'll recap the evening around the Big Ten Conference. Coming up in 6:04 on the game clock. That Green Bay likes to pressure the backcourt. Only have had a couple of opportunities to set that up. Hap taking it baseline against Lowe, and then out to the freshman, Dimitri Trice.
Nice repost. Really good job utilizing the repost. So many times you'll see a team go into the post once and then they'll quit. If you repost, Brandon, what happens is the defender just necessarily kind of relaxes, and then you can go right back inside, and Wisconsin recognized that.
And credit Trice, the lone freshman in the rotation for Greg Gard, with the assist on that repost for Hap. Wisconsin, 10 made field goals, 9 assists. You were noting that earlier. So good at sharing the basketball.
Pretty good job there by Trice of keeping the second leading scorer for Green Bay, the freshman Anderson, in front of him.
Hayes trying to slip it inside, knocked out of bounds. It will stay with the Phoenix. Nigel Hayes. And there's Ethan Happ. 2 guys who have started a lot of games for this Wisconsin program. Tonight for Hayes is 87th consecutive start. He's got the basketball right now. This is Iverson. No foul called, lowered the shoulder.
Yeah.
There we go.
It was a little delayed, but you knew that was forthcoming.
And that's the second foul on a frustrated Khalil Iverson.
Yeah, watch this play by number 21, Khalil Iverson. Now that has all the subtlety of a knee to the head. They had to call that one.
I don't know if Mike Eads accidentally swallowed his whistle for a second. The whistle was late, but it came.
I think he was worried about the defender from Green Bay flying into him.
So Iverson has to go to the bench with those 2 fouls. replaced by Jordan Hill, number 11 in white, number 22 in white. Ethan Happ leading the charge. And a nice left-handed finish by Hayes.
How about the versatility displayed by Happ? You get your ball, you get your hands on the basketball, then you lead the break.
Not many 6'10" guys can run the floor like that. A little small, fadeaway shot, no good in the paint.
And watch him sprint down the floor. I mean, that's a guy that's 6'10", and he can move.
He's got it now. See what he does. Isolated against Lowe. Well, knocked away, but that's because he's fouled by Kenneth Lowe.
Well, Ethan Happ, Brandon, can impact the game in a number of ways. None more so than going from defense to offense. What great versatility. Shows you why you dribble with your heads up. Nigel Hayes says thank you very much. They're up 13 here in Madison. Where the Badgers enjoy a 13-point lead. And Brandon, there's a number of ways that a guy at 6'10" can impact the game. None more so than Ethan Happ. He led the conference in steals a year ago, but he's also a very good defender. Watch it move his feet. Number 22 there again. Now he shores up. He understands that the player that he's guarding is left-handed. He jumps that left hand. Then a couple possessions later, those active hands lead to a steal and an opportunity to get out in transition. But the way that that fella right there with the basketball, Ethan Happ, moves his feet, very impressive.
Looking for an assist, but Bronson Koenig can't oblige. However, he does get the offensive rebound. Showalter out to Koenig. No. Oh, Hayes trying to bury it with two hands. Could not do it.
Good back tap.
Three cracks at a great back tap by Trice. Here's a 3-on-2. And Trice, the recipient.
Who was leading it? They get the ball to Happ, and he gets it in the middle of the floor, but it started with that back tap and then the ability to go from defense to offense very quickly for this savvy Wisconsin squad.
They haven't been able to get Anderson the ball much, as you noted. He did get it there, but could not knock it down. Trevor Anderson, the state's best player last year, as ranked by the voters. Mr. Basketball in the state of Wisconsin, number 12 in green. This time back to Happ. Short. Well, 70% from the field on the season for Happ, top 10 in the country. He has to miss sometime, and he does there.
Yeah, I don't think they'll revoke his scholarship with one miss. He's okay.
There's Anderson, talking about a moment ago. Gives it up to Cooper.
And Trice has done a nice job when he's drawn that assignment as well, in addition to Showalter. So they're running a couple of different defenders trying to wear down the freshman.
And when Trice guards him, those are the only two freshmen you'll see. Each team with one freshman in the rotation. At least out of the regular guys in the rotation, I should say. You might see one deep off the bench. Knocked out of the hands of Happ. Hoops return Sunday when the Spartans take on Northeastern. Then Monday it's a doubleheader with Purdue, Western Illinois, followed by the Hoosiers and Delaware State. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern Sunday on BTN and BTN to go.
And in that last game, Delaware State, the Hornets defeated a Big East team in St. John's earlier this year.
They did indeed. Coming down to the hands of Box. Green Bay, they haven't scored in over 5 minutes. Down 15 points right now to Wisconsin. Go inside to Jesperson. He kicks out Cantor. That's good.
The three-point basket is good by Cantor.
Yeah, he set up shop over there, and you allow him to catch and release. He's got a pretty good chance of putting it in the bottom of the net, as he's shown twice so far this season.
Kane only attempted 8 threes and made 3 of them. And now, as you said, he's hit a pair tonight. A turnover by Nigel Hayes.
Back into the Badgers, Jordan Hill.
Be sure to stay tuned for the latest Big Ten news and highlights with Dave Revson and Deon Thomas on the State Farm halftime report coming up in just a bit. Wisconsin had a 15-point lead. Now it's down to a dozen. See if Green Bay can string back-to-back buckets together. There's a foul away from the ball.
They were trying to free up Bots. And there's a thing called bumping the cutter. And Jordan Hill got caught for more than just bumping the cutter.
Well, freedom of movement continues to be a big point of emphasis this year.
And I don't think it was really anything intentional. He was trying to get over the top of his own and follow his offensive responsibility through, but just ran into the cutting box.
It's the first foul by Jordan Hill.
Nice pass.
Great dish. Yep, easy lay-in for Kanter.
Away from the defender and toward the basket. Excellent post feed by Small.
So Kanter, who we talked about, 40 of his 63 points in the last 2 games. He has 8 now here tonight. And dribbling it off his foot, Zach Showalter. 5 Wisconsin turnovers for Greg Gard's team.
Last couple possessions reminiscent of the early 2 to 3 minutes of this ball game, Brandon, where there wasn't nearly as much movement of personnel and a lot of dribbling. And the last 2 times, excessive dribbling have led to unforced turnovers.
They could get a bucket here and go into the lockers down single digits, Sean. That would be a big deal for the Phoenix. And just as I say that, an illegal screen.
No basket.
That one is on David Jesperson, or maybe he was sealing off inside.
I think he was sealing it. And the other thing is they wanted to go 2 for 1 there, because if you take a look at the difference between shot and game clock, they took that opportunity early in the shot clock because they knew that they were going to have an opportunity then to get another possession if they were able to clean things up on the defensive end.
They will get the ball back, barring an offensive rebound. Wisconsin has missed 5 of their last 6. Vito Brown will take it with space. And now the shot clock is off. And Link Darner had a use it or lose it timeout, and he will go ahead and use it and set one more play up before intermission. Starts at 3 Eastern Saturday, presented by Aprilaire on BTN and BTN To Go. Final 15 seconds here of the first half. Green Bay's lowest scoring first half of the season was 26 against Bowling Green, and they're going to be under that, but can they get another bucket? Khalil Small. Out to Kanter. Short. Got an open look, though. Could not drop it in, and Wisconsin will take a 10-point lead to the lockers. And then after the break, Dave Revson, Deon Thomas going to bring you the State Farm halftime report. Wisconsin gets up by 15, and they cruise into our halftime score in Madison, and it's 31-21. The 14th-ranked Badgers lead. Wisconsin had a 15-point advantage in the first half. The first 20 ends with a 10-point lead for the 14th-ranked Badgers. Welcome back courtside, everybody. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Sean Morris, and cold shooting for both teams in the first half. Only 12 field goals made for Wisconsin, but 11 assists on those 12 makes.
Both teams, to your point, Brandon, under 40% conversion rate from the floor. But this continues a trend and a positive one for the Wisconsin Badgers over the last 5 or 6 ball games as we take a look at our State Farm assists, plural, of the game. 11 assists for those 12 field goals, whether it be for kick-out threes or watch Ethan Happ continuing his outstanding play, the deflection and the completion on the other end of the floor. Excellent ball reversal allows Zach Showalter to step in to that three-point shot, and Showalter was probably the individual star of the first half for the Badgers. 9 points, 3 of 4 from deep, 4 steals.
You see Hayes, Happ, and Showalter there at the bottom. 27 of the Badgers' 31 so far. And now half number 2 underway from the Kohl Center. Conveniently at halftime they announced 20% off of winter weather gears. It's 4 degrees outside the Kohl Center right now, by the way.
They didn't have anything for the pituitary enhanced, so I guess I'll freeze.
It is a chilly night, but thankfully it's 72 degrees and comfortable inside. Speaking of inside, Lowe with a left hand.
And that was also a story for the difference in the first half. This was the team we talked about it, Brandon, in Green Bay that shoots 25 foul shots on average per ball game. They did not make a trip to the foul line in the first half.
Yeah, how about that? 0 of 0. Wisconsin just 3 of 4. But Link Darner's got his club back within 8 here.
And for the Badgers, Iverson. Replaces Ethan Happ.
Iverson quickly coming in, just 35 seconds off the clock as Happ will sit. See if Green Bay they like to pick up this pressure in the backcourt as we talked about, try to force the Badgers into some turnovers. 5 of them in the first half for Wisconsin. December 23rd of last year when these two teams met on this floor. 26 turnovers for the Badgers. Here's a deep touch for Hayes, and he'll go to the line.
Good duck in by Hayes, but again, it was an excellent post feed, which provides this opportunity. The Phoenix break down a little bit defensively, Brandon. They don't have their hands up. Watch where the hands are of the defender on bots. That allows Iverson to look over the top. So a little bit of breakdown, kind of an unusual one for the Phoenix, who have been pretty sound in that regard. But if you're going to be out there, you can be in position to contest that post feed, but you have to have your hands up. And Iverson shows you why, because he was able to look in unobstructed to the posting up Hayes.
Hayes, here's his 6th free throw attempt of the evening. He has attempted all 6 free throws in this game for either team. And that's true to form. His 67 on the season, most for the Badgers, and of course, most of the Big Ten last year. Free from the wing, no good by Anderson.
Hand up by Showalter, right there on the catch for Anderson.
Hayes, another deep post touch, kicking out this time and right back in.
Oh, nice.
To the cutter, Iverson, the most athletic man for the Badgers, can't finish. And then Khalil Small has it blocked, got it back. And taken away ultimately by Hayes.
Boy, that's a shame. That was beautiful give-and-go basketball, and I'm sure somewhere who's heard me say it before, missed dunk worth nothing, made layup worth 2.
But Iverson's so athletic and explosive, you want to see him with those highlight reel jams. Unfortunately, couldn't convert for Wisconsin last time. Hayes will pull. And Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, that's what Hayes was doing a lot of early in the year that he's maybe trying to get away from.
Yeah, and he did it a couple of times in the early part of this ball game. Watch the give and go. Give, go, and not so much. But still beautiful basketball, everything but the completion. It's like a gymnastics routine where you don't stick the landing, I guess. I'm a Renaissance guy with gymnastics. I mean, can't you tell by looking at me?
It's a big blockbuster film that goes nowhere at the end, I guess, right? Koenig just 1 of 7 from the floor, but able to convert at the line. Again, he's the first player outside of Nigel Hayes to go to the stripe. Cooper right to the rim, offensive foul.
Yeah, and that's the right call, because he dips that shoulder, and Cooper, the leading scorer for Green Bay at 14 points per outing, he wants to get to the rim. He hasn't had an opportunity to get anything going that has been easy. And you'll take a look on the kick ahead. This is what they want to do. Yeah, he dropped that shoulder. Easy call for the official to make. That's a foul out of frustration by Cooper.
It's also the 4th foul for Cooper, so he's on the bench with over 18 minutes to go. It's a turnover as well, the 10th for Green Bay in this game. Badgers led by 15 in the first half. The lead right now at 11. And both teams below 40% so far from the field as a foul at the top of the key.
Anderson tried to get over the top of the screen. Both Showalter and Iverson were cutting really hard, forcing Green Bay to move their feet defensively. Then they come up with a little bit of a high ball screen, and Anderson got caught on it and grabbed some jersey.
Wisconsin didn't have the best first half against Marquette. It was really their second half where they scored 58 points in that last outing. A 16-0 run to put it away. Greg Gard hoping for more of that here tonight. A miss from the corner won't help. Out of bounds to the Phoenix. In that win over Marquette, where Wisconsin scored 93 points, Greg Gard's team 58% for the field. I said 58 second half points. It was quite the finish for the Badgers.
But Showalter came through 2 stagger screens and was right there on the catch by Anderson. I mean, that was tough.
Here's Bots contested. Doesn't get the roll. Finley battling inside. It is rare that Wisconsin gives up an offensive rebound. Only the 3rd of the game for Green Bay.
Nice battle inside by Tevin Finley. You mentioned he's undersized, and this will be the first free throw attempt on the evening for Green Bay. And bear in mind, this is a squad that a big part of what they do offensively is getting to the foul line, which they do on average 25 times per game.
And as you noted earlier, but it bears repeating, they led the country in that category last year, free throw attempts. Tevin Finley from north of the border in Canada, so he's used to the cold temperatures outside, but he cannot hit the second. Into half. Gathers, finds Iverson. This time instead of dunking it, he lays it in.
Again, the give and go and keeping the ball up high and chinned by Happ creates the dive attempt for Iverson.
And how did Anderson get that wide open?
That's the reason that Showalter has been blanketing him, because he shoots the ball very, very confidently, especially from deep. 40% conversion rate as a true freshman for the Phoenix. You can't leave him alone.
Bronson Koenig no good with the left hand. Happ had it and got fouled.
Ethan Happ setting up shot, good post feed again, away from the defense, able to corral it. And when you saw that double team come down, the freshman turns his head. Rookie mistake, as they say. Iverson makes him pay.
Dimitri Trice coming in for Bronson Koenig, so Greg Gard goes with a little bit of a smaller lineup. Trice, I think, generously listed at 6'1" as the freshman guard, number 0. Younger brother of ex-Michigan State marksman Travis Trice.
And he has shot at a marksman-type rate so far early in his career, right at 61% from deep. First, then he misses.
He does miss. 14 to 24 now, though. Still very good numbers for the freshman. Low, coming to the rim.
How about the lift off the bench by Finley? He got to the foul line, kind of broke that streak, and then he gets the ball in the middle of the floor and the delivery for a rare opportunity at the rim for the Phoenix.
Their first slam of the night. All of a sudden, it's back down to 7. Nigel Hayes. Yes, and one.
Bots is saying, wait a minute. I just got pushed underneath the rim and the foul's on me.
Wisconsin hosting Green Bay. 23rd all-time meeting between these two in-state rivals.
Continuing outstanding play of Nigel Hayes. 1 of 2 from behind the arc this evening. They like to play through him. And Bots on an island. And a chance for an and one as we return to live action by Nigel Hayes. And 13 points, 3 rebounds, and over the last 5 games, especially in terms of sharing the basketball, Nigel Hayes has been playing at an elite level.
Absolutely. What a difference maker there with 23 assists, 7 turnovers, as you noted. Can't convert on the old-fashioned three-point play, missing at the stripe. He's 4 of 7 at the line as Green Bay tries to get this back a little closer. 9 right now inside of 16 minutes at the Kohl Center.
And Green Bay, still within striking distance, and your 2 leading scorers, if your coach Link Darner, give you about 25, 26 points per outing. Right now they've combined for 7, and your leading scorers on the bench with 4 fouls.
Yeah, that's Cooper and Anderson. And there's another turnover for Green Bay. Showalter trying to get it into Happ. He does. Nice extra pass. Iverson still can't get a dunk to go down, but he'll end in the line.
Wonderful offensive patience by the sophomore Ethan Happ. He waits for the double team to come, and then when it does, he doesn't panic. And like a quarterback who tries to sense where the blitz comes from, that's where the open receiver is. In that case, it was Iverson.
Speaking of which, Wisconsin football team was honored here at halftime. They'll be playing Western Michigan down in the Metroplex of Dallas-Fort Worth in the bowl game, after falling to Penn State in the Big Ten title bout. Second free throw good for Khalil Iverson. A little bit of foul trouble to watch for Green Bay. Bots and Lowe with 3, and Cooper on the bench with 4. Canner, though, he's been a nice boost. 10 points for him.
Really nicely designed play by Coach Link Darner and Green Bay. They get the defense flowing one way with the dribble handoff to Anderson, then they slip it back the opposite way and allow Canner to complete with the stronger left hand. Really well-designed sequence.
Into the block to Hayes, spinning away from a double team. I think Hayes is he just said, are you kidding me? He just can't figure out why he didn't get the layup to go.
Well, Kenneth Lowe gets caught, and then once he's beaten, he just tries to ride Hayes completely outside.
That's the 4th foul on Kenneth Lowe, so he and Cooper both with 4. Fans, subscribe now to BTN Plus. Gain access to hundreds of non-televised games, including men's basketball, with both monthly and annual passes available starting at less than $10. See your school in action. Never miss a moment of the excitement. BTN Plus, available on BTN to go. Good on the second one for Hayes. Swatted out of bounds. Iverson talked about his athleticism, sporting it again there.
And Finley had a nice view. Watch it. Watch as he completes the play. Now, he goes up, and Iverson blocks it. And from his posterior, Finley gets a bird's eye view as his recently attempted shot flies out of bounds.
Then they try an alley-oop, but that's too tall for Jamar Hurdle.
But even though Finley came up empty on that possession, he has given them a nice lift in 5 minutes off the bench, been very active.
Green Bay setting up that backcourt pressure. It's 6-10. Happ can handle the ball. We've seen that. Nigel Hayes going to work in the block. Dishing opposite wing. Back inside of the 6'10", Ethan Happ. 7 to shoot, Showalter, yes.
And a nice job by Showalter of making the extra slide to give a better passing angle for his teammate Happ out of the double team. If he would have stayed where he was, I don't think Happ would have been able to deliver it to him.
4 3-pointers for Zach Showalter. He had hit 10 in the first 11 games for the Badgers, so quite an outing here tonight. Small can't equal it on the other side. And Wisconsin has turned 12 Green Bay turnovers into 14 points after that last basket. Hayes double team, but passes out of it to Koenig. Nigel Hayes, he loves that spin move. Can't get it to drop. Trevor Anderson, sensational freshman, gives it up to Finley. And he is held on the drive by Bronson Koenig.
Zach Showalter has made his presence known on the offensive end. Now watch him move. He didn't stand. He didn't become a spectator. There's no way Happ sees him, Brandon, unless he slides over and gets into the vision of Happ. And you mentioned he's knocked down 4 triples, but I think his biggest contribution has been on the defensive end of the floor, as he has been affixed to the freshman score and former Mr. Basketball in the state of Wisconsin, Trevor Anderson. He has not allowed him any clean looks.
Absolutely hasn't. Again, right there, Koenig on it and driving inside, putting it up and off the glass for 2. Really nice play by Jamar Hurdle.
Green Bay runs some really good stuff. This is a well-coached team by Link Darner. They like to get the defense flowing one way and then kick it back the other. We saw them go to the right and then kick it back to the left. With Cantor here, they go the opposite way. They get the defense flowing left, and then the kick back and the dribble drive to the rim and a chance for an and one.
Cannot complete it. Hurdle misses on the free throw attempt. And here is the freshman Dimitri Trice, guarded by the other freshman on the floor, Anderson. Drives by him. Can't finish, but guess who can? Charles Thomas.
When Thomas just beat Cantor to the post position twice, it forced Cantor all the way out to the three-point line.
Thomas only averages 3, got 2 right there. Speaking of Cantor, in the corner.
Maybe he'd been better served to let him catch it in the block, because that's the second time he's been able to catch it in that left corner. Did it in the first half. Here returns the favor in the second.
He has 13 to lead everybody on the side of the Phoenix, including 3 from long range. This Karam Cantor. Vito Brown on an angle. And he finishes. Finley, no. Ball loose in the paint. And it falls to Dimitri Trice. He charges the other way.
But that's what Green Bay wants to do, and they weren't able to get that going in the first half, which is just attack you off the dribble and try to get you into a bonus situation.
Koenig tried to take it 1-on-2. Iverson able to save it. Shot clock does not reset. And there is a bump on Jamar Hurdle. Badgers up 11. Green Bay trying to hang tough with 11:33 to play in Madison.
The offensive production of Zach Showalter only begins to talk about his impact on this ball game. 4 of 7, 4 of 6 from deep, 4 steals, and has just done a really good job defensively, Brandon, of limiting Trevor Anderson, the second leading scorer for the Phoenix of Green Bay. Watch him. He doesn't even let him catch the ball. Then he comes off another set of staggers. Has always been there on the catch. The only open three-point look that Anderson got was when Showalter was on the bench.
And that's the only basket that he has made. Anderson right now sitting down. Dimitri Trice is able to knock down both for Wisconsin. And the lead now to Baker's dozen. Largest lead was 15 points with 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Canner to the corner to Finley. Finley had it knocked loose in the lane by Iverson. Koenig holds it up. Badgers showing patience and resetting. Beautiful. Slips it to Half.
Oh, that is so nice. 2 screens, 2 well-set screens by Half. A lot of times you'll see a guy not come under complete control, draw the offensive player control foul. Not the case there. They weave back and forth until the bounce pass off the give and go is available.
Off the bounce that time, no good for Cameron Hankerson. Well, you told me during the break, both teams, despite not shooting the best, running some good half-court offense, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are sharing the ball. And I've been impressed, even though they've come up short a few times, by some of the things that the Phoenix have been able to do, especially with some misdirection plays with a couple of their best players on the bench with foul trouble.
That time, Ethan Happ with a rare mishap off his foot. Only the 6th Wisconsin turnover. Green Bay twice that at 12.
And 14 points off those 12 miscues.
And speaking of miscues, there's another. Iverson, nice pass out to Trice. Crowd wanted him to shoot it. Instead, Happelfire. No good on the range. The crowd, I think they like anytime Happ takes a shot outside of 5 feet. Fans, when the action ends, the Big Show takes over. In-depth highlights from around the conference, post-game reactions straight from the arena, and a complete breakdown of everything that happened. The Big Show tonight after the game on BTN and BTN To Go. I'm sitting next to a man who knows a thing or two about the Big Show.
Yeah, I mean,
you're all over that studio, aren't you?
I may not be good, but I'm always on time. How about that?
He's Sean Morris. I'm Brandon Gaudin here in Madison.
Nice rip-through move. Not able to complete, but that was a nice rip-through move. Probably going to be able to complete that if he was able to execute the same move on the opposite side of the floor and finish with a strong hand.
Happ, great patience, finds the cutter.
Boy, if you turn your head when Happ has the basketball and you dive, you are going to get rewarded. That's the 3rd time he's done it this evening.
Showalter got the bucket. Now he gets a steal. It's an 8-0 Badger run, their largest lead of the game at 17, and they'll try to add to that. Trice to Happ. Timeout, Green Bay. They need it. And Sean, now it's 18 points for Wisconsin off of those Green Bay turnovers.
And they've been able to convert turnovers into points. They've spread out the Phoenix defensively, trying to come back from down 19.
Wisconsin on a 10-0 run over the last 3:22, and Ethan Happ, number 22 in white, what a game he has had.
6 assists, 6 of a total of 16 thus far for the Badgers on 20 field goals. And Showalter, another steal, his 6th.
How about that? 6 steals for Showalter. That's a career high for him. He has 16 points. That's a season high. And now the Badgers starting to open it up. That won't help them open it up. It's a foul that's going to send Jamar Hurdle to the line.
The passing has been outstanding of late. Now watch the spacing of the white jerseys. You hear people talk about spacing. This is why. The green jerseys, one guy is not able to guard two, and because the floor is so well spaced by the Badgers in that situation, the dive cut is available for Showalter, and there's no one there to help out because they know they can't leave half.
Nobody should leave Ethan Happ, but they know it. It has created those buckets through the spacing that you mentioned and helped them open up this big lead. Jamar Hurdle gets 1 of 2. Ethan Happ, by the way, with his 5th double-double of the season. For the redshirt sophomore from Milan, Illinois.
Nice repost. Boy, they do such a nice job with the repost. Man, I like it. Because the initial defensive normal reaction is once the ball goes into the post the first time and they kick it out, Brandon, you can see the defender relax, and then you take advantage of that.
Gives Dimitri Trice his 3rd assist, and there is his first steal of the night. Wisconsin with a season-high 12 steals. I mentioned Showalter with a career-high 6. Here goes Happ again. No with the left hand. A rare miss for Ethan Happ. Anderson has been frustrated tonight. This time he just decides to take matters into his own hands.
And that was a shot out of frustration. Exactly to your point, Brandon. He hasn't been able to get anything easy and just launched one up.
Hayes, no, but back to the line he goes for his 10th and 11th free throw attempts of the night. Coming up after this timeout as the Badgers talk to an agent today at 800 State Farm. And by Culligan. Better water, pure and simple. Madison, Wisconsin, chilly, chilly, chilly outside. 4 degrees the current reading, but as I said earlier, it's nice and warm here in the Kohl Center, where Wisconsin, Sean, has expanded this to a 22-point lead.
Really shared the ball well. 22 made field goals, 17 coming via the assist, and it's been the turnovers that have also contributed to the Badgers being able to build this lead. 17 errors by Green Bay have been converted into 20 points for the Badgers, and when you have a almost 3-to-1 assist turnover ratio as a team, that's pretty good.
And Nigel Hayes getting to the free throw line a bunch. Those were his 10th and 11 attempts. He now has 18 points. He has 18, Showalter 16, Happ 12, along with 10 rebounds. So everybody getting into the mix for Greg Gard. Small adjusting and able to finish.
Basket by Small.
Pins a little 0 for 4 slump for Green Bay. With 7 minutes to play now, they're down 61-39. It's been a quiet 18 for Nigel Hayes, but he does it in a lot of different ways. They try to feed it to him there in the post. It's knocked out.
Nice job by Jesperson there into the ball game for Green Bay of getting his hand over the top and deflecting it.
8 to shoot. Koenig into an open Ethan Happ. Easiest 2 that Happ has had all evening. Bronson Koenig with 4 assists and 4 points tonight. A little lower in the points category. Here's Cooper. Bad miss, but it'll stay on this end.
Yeah, Cooper cold off the bench after that foul trouble and the dribble drive, and you saw again the freshman try to come up and help. Got caught in no man's land. Number 12. Watch on this dribble drive right here. He leaves Happ. That allows the opportunity for Koenig to find him.
Cooper fading away and getting it to drop. He now has 6 points, but he averages a team best 13.6. So another guy that Wisconsin has held in check. Koenig has it blocked. He's also fouled.
The Green Bay foul. Number 45, Kenneth Lowe.
And Kenneth Lowe for Green Bay is also just fouled out of the game before Bronson Koenig shoots these free throws. The senior from Little Chute, Wisconsin, will exit to the bench.
And Brennan, Zach Showalter just walked in front of our broadcast position, and he's had an outstanding game tonight. But I look back to last season, and you know, there was a time Wisconsin was 1-4 in the league, 9-9 overall. They had a big game here against Michigan State. And even though he wasn't the hero of the game in terms of scoring the last basket, that honor went to Ethan Happ. There was a play that comes to my somewhat fertile mind every once in a while. They're down 4, and Showalter tracks down a loose ball, dives on it to get them an extra possession. If he doesn't make that play, who knows the kind of turn that the Wisconsin season could have had a season ago.
Instead, and everyone knows how it ended, what a great run to the end, and then got to the Sweet 16 in the tournament with some dramatics against Xavier and a great shot by Bronson Koenig. Canner on an angle.
Nice job by Canner of using that inside pivot. That backs the defender off, and then he knocks it down. He's hit a couple of threes. He's got a nice little perimeter game.
And he has 15 points to lead Green Bay. Fading away the freshman, Demetric Trice. And Greg Gard, changing of the guard since last year. And you were talking about the start and Showalter have a nice play, but Greg Gard 24-10 started off 1-4.
Yeah, they lost at Northwestern, and Michigan State came in here, and you know their season was kind of teetering a little bit, and the way that they responded, then they rattled off, I believe it was 9 straight conference wins. Just a wonderful testimony to these guys buying in to what Coach Gard did. Because when you have a coaching change at any time, Brandon, I don't care when it is, when you're in college, it's a very difficult situation, let alone midstream, and they responded admirably, and the coaching staff just kind of held them all together. And it's always good to see one of the good people, not just in business, in this business, but just in life, a guy like Greg Gard get the opportunity and then make the most of it as he's done thus far.
He's got his top 9 scorers back, and I know he told us before the game is Showalter can't finish with the rim. Greg Gard was telling us, you know, we've been too inconsistent, but he has to be excited about the team this year.
Yeah, coaches, you know, you can tell he's a coach because he's not happy unless he's unhappy about something.
The Wisconsin Powers and Showalter is first.
All but 6 points returning this year for Wisconsin from that Sweet 16 team a year ago. And this morning was the first time I had met him. You said he's such a great guy, so nice, and certainly he was. My highlight of the day was you and he talking farming.
Well, I didn't live on a farm, but I did some work on a farm, and we were regaling each other with stories of detasseling and dealing with livestock from time to time. I'm sure it was riveting for you.
It was.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about pigs.
Yeah,
They're not a friendly animal, you say,
no,
right?
There's a reason that everyone should eat bacon, whether they like it or not, because pigs are mean.
Greg Gard also had a street in his hometown named after him recently, didn't he?
Yeah, that's a boulevard in Cobb, Wisconsin. I asked him if they paved it yet, and he said they had.
So congratulations to him for that honor. He was happy to go back to his town. Said it was a surprise. He didn't know what he was back there for. Unveiling of the street. Nice finish by Nigel Hayes with a left. So the Badgers by 24 as we approach 4 minutes remaining. There's a 3 pulled and hit by Khalil Small. And Link Darner's team putting on the backcourt pressure, token pressure at least. Green Bay last year mentioned went to the NCAA tournament. The Horizon League that they are in this year picked 3rd. Hayes will go back to the line when we come back. 3:46 to go. Greg Gard and company cruising in Madison. Pandemonium in the marketplace.
Well, they could really throw a wrench into the markets, but the injuries, especially with the bigs, Tyler Cook, DeMonte Dodd, Miles Bridges, and Derek Parton at Northwestern, what that has allowed to do, you know, some silver lining, some backups have gotten some quality minutes. We talked about the Minnesota Golden Gophers and their improvement. The Indiana Hoosiers against Butler in a really highly anticipated game against a couple of top 20 teams in Indianapolis, something to keep an eye on. And you know, this upcoming weekend is also an opportunity for a team like Northwestern that we mentioned, their last opportunity to get a high-profile RPI boosting non-conference win against a very good Dayton team in a neutral site game at the United Center. And Illinois has the same opportunity with BYU.
Both teams still hustling here, and Green Bay will get the ball. By the way, you'll be calling that Butler, Indiana game, will you not?
Yes, and hopefully that will not deter people from watching, because it will be an outstanding ball game.
Should be an excellent game, part of that Crossroads Classic where Purdue plays Notre Dame, and then Indiana takes on Butler right here on BTN. I'm part of a house divided. We have Indiana grads, we have Butler grads, and we have Purdue grads. So that's always an interesting day in the Circle City. Khalil Small gets fouled. Besides the storylines that we thought, I mean, or saw there, obviously Indiana's going to be really darn good, this Wisconsin team, but there's going to be a lot of fun basketball once conference play hits.
You know, and I would throw Purdue into that mix right now. I think those are the three teams right now as we sit coming toward down the stretch of the non-conference season that you would have to put, you know, however you wanted in 1, 2, or 3. I would give the slight edge to Wisconsin because of their experience. But then you have a lot of teams. Illinois is improved. They're healthy. We talked about Minnesota a little bit. Northwestern has a couple of outstanding wings that are playing well in Vic Law and Scotty Lindsey. Michigan has an experienced backcourt with Zach Irvin and Derek Walton Jr. So you have a lot of teams that are going to kind of be, you know, in that mix as this season unfolds, and Iowa has the leading scorer in Peter Jock. So a lot of teams, you know, kind of from that 4 down to, you know, 9 or even 10 area to keep an eye on, and how the teams start is going to be really important, and how your schedule kind of lays out. Getting off to a good start is going to be more important maybe than ever in this conference this year.
Trice turns it over as Green Bay trying to make a late push to make this closer. Cooper, no. Second time, no again. How about a third time? Yes.
Good effort. You know what? I like that, and you have to respect that. You know, the ball game, for all intents and purposes, is kind of out of reach, but the effort can always be there, and Cooper is rewarded.
Speaking of the upcoming schedule for Wisconsin, 9 days off for an exam break. Then on the 23rd of December, they will play Florida A&M, and then conference action. Oh, there's a nice move and a two-handed slam by Nigel Hayes. His second 20-point game of the season. He has 22. And on the 27th, as spinning out of control there, Cantor travels. On the 27th, Wisconsin will open up conference play against Rutgers. There's Ethan Happ, and he is our Duluth Trading hardest working player, and he earned it.
A double-double, sharing the basketball, a lot of those coming. When the double team comes at him, he can complete. And if you don't do the double team, he shows you what can happen as he's able to get to the rim and complete with either hand. Sets a strong screen, and then the beautiful pocket pass from Koenig and the conversion. And Ethan Happ leading the conference in steals a year ago, but he's so much more than that on the defensive end because it's the ability to move his feet laterally.
Where do you think for Happ the biggest area he needs to improve?
His shooting, you know, not just foul shooting, but if he's able to develop something from that high post, you know, the 12 to 15-foot shot where he can knock that down consistently, he's going to be almost unguardable because of his ability to put the ball on the floor. But right now, if you're designing a scouting report for Happ and he catches the ball out on the wing, you gap him and just basically dare him to shoot until he shows you otherwise.
Nice finish there by Tevin Finley. Well, with Happ and Nigel Hayes, Hayes now has 24. What a tandem. Of course, everyone knows the other players in the mix, Bronson, Koenig, and company, but it's a heck of a scoring tandem. And Hayes will take a seat for the final 143. With a nice round of applause from the Kohl Center faithful. Offensive rebound, Cantor bats it back up to Finley. Hankerson can't get into the scoring column. Ball coming over here by us. That was a scary moment.
I had you.
You put your arm out. You had the Heisman pose
going.
I did. I appreciate that, partner. I was ducking for under the table, by the way.
My insurance is paid up. It's all right.
Cantor will head to the foul line.
The Wisconsin calls on Demetrius Trice.
Watch this.
Showing you that I am a team player.
Look at that.
Yeah. It's all about player safety.
I was frozen pizza, by the way.
And, most importantly, didn't spill my Diet Coke.
You didn't.
That's a veteran move.
That is a veteran move. And a couple of late game substitutions.
And Charles Thomas.
Charles Thomas coming back in for the first time Brevin Pritzel, number 1, who rarely gets in, a redshirt freshman, and Aaron Maish as well, a redshirt junior. Walk-ons for Greg Gard in the game.
And Cantor continues his outstanding offensive production for Green Bay over the last 3 ball games.
Yeah, if Cantor keeps going like this, Green Bay has some nice pieces. They'll definitely compete in the Horizon League.
Yeah, the 2 leading scorers just weren't able to get anything going. Charles Cooper was saddled with foul trouble, and then Zach Showalter, the many things that he contributed to the winning effort tonight was on the defensive end, and he took out the 2nd leading scorer, freshman Trevor Anderson, out of this ballgame tonight.
Taking it coast to coast, laying it up into Cameron Hankerson. Green Bay led for just 25 seconds in this game. It was 12 to 11 at one point with 11 minutes left in the first half. But Wisconsin went on to lead by as many as 24. Right now it's 73-57. See if one of these guys off the bench can get an attempt. Trice with it right now with 6 to shoot. And he will pull and leave it short. Cantor stuffing the scoring column. 2 more.
And a nice pass by Finley. Finley came in, didn't have a lot of minutes for Green Bay, but gave them a nice lift. An example of it there in the open floor.
19 for Cantor, but his effort will not help Green Bay to a win as Wisconsin in the second half pulls away and cruises to the 14-point victory, getting to 10-2 as Green Bay falls to 4-6 on the season.